Okay, this is a short little presentation on some FRQ tips to help you improve writing your FRQs. Just some information, you have 50 minutes to complete 2 questions and they're equally weighted. Formatting. You do not need introductions and conclusions. You can just go ahead and start writing the basis of your essay. Make sure you write in short, clear, complete sentences. This is not the time to improve or to impress anybody with crazy vocabulary or crazy long sentences. If you have it and you feel comfortable, use it. But it's actually better to grade and easier to grade when you write in short and clear sentences. Make sure you write neatly so that I can read it. One thing that we're going to try to use in this class is what we call chug sodas. And obviously it's a acronym. So the C stands for concise. When you're answering the prompt, make sure that you are right to the point. You're not giving me extra. This is not the time to do extra. Make sure your handwriting is legible. I need to be able to read it. Underline the vocabulary words, and then get rid of the introduction and conclusion sentence or paragraphs. So C. This is the idea that quality of what you write is far more important than the quantity of what you write. The idea that you want it to be good, you don't need it to be necessarily a lot. So if we go back, that's what we're talking about with concise. Get down to the point, be specific. One error that you can do is start writing before you think about how you want to write this out or how you want to do it, and then you tend to babble on without giving me an answer. Make sure you always read, when it says both prompts, sometimes it has, and you'll see this a lot now in the newer exams, you'll see 2 bullet points or 2, an A, a B, or even A, B, and C. Make sure you understand what the question is asking you to do before you write. Determine the question's intent. In other words, what are they talking about? What do they mean? What do they want you to accomplish? Chug. The U. I want you to follow the questions within the questions. So if you underline key vocabulary or key phrases, you need to, again, use this to write down what the question is asking you to do. What specifically do they want you to do? This is just a reminder. No introduction, no conclusion, no thesis statement. You don't need it. Now, soda. S means to leave some space in between each paragraph. So when I say space, I mean a couple of lines in between each point. This does not mean in between each sentence. It just means in between each point. It makes it easier for the readers to read. But in addition to that, if you want to go back and add anything in, you have the space to do that. One way that you can organize your essay is by giving each term or each vocabulary word its own little mini paragraph. Make sure that you go ahead and define everything. I think I really noticed this in some of your FRQs, that it's best if you just go ahead and define everything, then go ahead and apply that concept to, or that term to whatever the scenario might be. Now, a quick reminder, if you just give a definition, it may not score. Use synonyms to avoid parodying the prompt. In other words, you don't want to copy the word prompt down directly, but you can use other words for saying what it's asking you to do. So a couple of things that I want to just go over with you all. Distinguishing the concepts. So if you go ahead and every time you want to start a new topic, you start a new paragraph, that's extremely helpful. Just some things to keep in mind. You should never have just 1 or just 2 paragraphs for your essay. Please try to go ahead and divide them up more than that. And make sure that you use the wording from the question to tell the reader what part of the question you're answering. And so you're talking about the helping or the hindering part. If you're talking about You know, whatever it may be that you're discussing, make sure you clearly state that. These are some examples. My hypothesis is that students participate, then they will recall more words. Participants who will practice will recall more words. My population of student is enrolled at CHS, and I will use students at CHS. So it tells you which ones are good and which ones are not good based off of concepts that we just discussed. Every FRQ is based off of a rubric that ranges anywhere from 6 to 16 points, but they are very typically between 6 and 8 points. Try, when you look at this, to identify how many points it's worth. So I want you to think right now, take a look at this, and then think to yourself quietly how many points it could potentially be worth. Okay. Right here, it's just asking you to explain with an example. That will be 1 point per bullet point. Down here, it's asking you that he was not as successful. So again, explain with an example how each of the following may help Abraham be more successful. So that's going to be an additional 4 points. So if you answered 7, you are correct. Now, essays are scored with a rubric again. This means that whoever is grading your paper is looking for specific things. And this is what I was trying to point out to you guys earlier about the fact that you need to make sure that there are certain specific phrases that they are looking for at the College Board that you need to make sure you have. So this just gives you an example of what a rubric does look like. And that's it.